Hello, my dear students. Today, we will create our first ever layout together, or in other words, a scene. I won't explain what a scene is. Let's get started right away. So, we need to choose a location on our computer and create a folder where you will store your game projects. For example, in the C drive, create a new folder and name it Armory Games. Inside this folder, you will keep all the projects you'll be working on. Therefore, we need at least one more folder inside it. Go into the Armory Games folder, create a new one inside it, and name it Asteroids. Now, it's time to launch Blender. Skip the welcome window, and with particular cruelty, delete the cube and the lamp. We don't need them. You can either select them one by one and press the delete key on your keyboard, or you can do it more professionally. Select both unwanted objects using rectangular selection, press the X key, and confirm the deletion with a click. You should leave the camera, it will come in handy. We will use it to view our game. It will be our window to the world. Now, there are already some changes in our project, and we need to save our progress so we don't lose our work and start from scratch. You can go to the File menu and choose Save. But cool folks just press the keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+S. In the pop-up window, you need to locate our Asteroids project folder. Don't rush to save the file, you need to give it a clear name. We will periodically save different versions of the project, so that in case of an apocalypse, we can revert to a previous version instead of starting from scratch. So, let's name our file asteroids_01. Now, press the Save button and move on. Let's finally create a background for our scene. Press Shift-A and select Plane. For your convenience, you need to move this plane so that the bottom left corner, along with the transformation point, is at the origin. Open the snapping menu. We need increment mode with absolute grid snap enabled. Now, while holding the Control key, snapping to the grid will work. Select the object, press Tab to enter edit mode. Select all, press the G key, and move the mouse to the desired position while holding the Control key. Align the bottom left corner with the center of the coordinates and left-click. Switch back to object mode using the Tab key. Why, you might ask? Well, I'll explain. We'll need to resize our background, and if the transformation point is not at the origin, you'll spend additional time aligning the object. When the pivot point is at the origin, all transformations will happen from it. And now we need to set a specific size for our background. 1.5 meters by 1 meter. These dimensions are chosen solely for your convenience. Human brains find it much easier to perceive the number 1000 than 1920 or 1080. It's easier to multiply and divide, and overall, it's more intuitive. To set our background to the exact size, open the right panel. To do this, press the N key. In the Dimensions field, enter 1.5 for X and exactly 1 for Y. Afterward, it's a good idea to apply the scale because it has become skewed. And all calculations will be based on these values now. We want nice, clean ones in all 3 dimensions. So, press Ctrl+A and select Scale. Perfect. Now we need to position the camera, which we didn't delete. The easiest way to do this is by switching to the Animation tab. On the left side, you have a camera view window, and on the right, you have your viewport. Select the camera with the left click. Go to the camera properties and switch to the orthographic type. Are you wondering what the difference between orthographic and perspective is? Just in case, let me explain. In perspective, we see objects appearing smaller as they get farther away. The cube, for instance, will look smaller the farther it is from us. In orthographic view, object sizes are independent of their distance. If two cubes are the same size, they will always appear the same size on the screen, regardless of their distance. In simpler terms, when a cube moves through the scene in perspective, it looks like this. In orthographic, it looks like this. Since we are making a 2D game, orthographic view suits us much better. Let's orient the camera towards the background. To do this, simply reset the current rotation values to 0. In the right panel, which you can open with the N key, go to the Item tab and find the Rotation section. Change all values to 0. Now the camera is looking straight down. You can also do the same in the Location section. This will place the camera at the origin. After that, you can lift it along the Z-axis. Now we need to set the viewport size to match our background. Go to the Output Properties and set the size to 1500 pixels by 1000. Additionally, in the camera settings, you need to set the orthographic scale to match the size of our background. This option is only available in an orthographic camera, and it allows us to adjust the viewport scale. In perspective mode, we could adjust the scale by moving the camera up or down. Change the value to 1.5, and now the viewport size matches our background. Now we need to position the camera exactly in the center of our background. Open the right panel. Let me remind you that it opens using the N button. If it's difficult to remember, try to do it using associations. N, right panel. We find the position of the X and drive in half the width of our background there. That is 0.75 Then in the Y position, we enter the number 0.5. Since this is half the height of the background, now the camera is exactly in the center of our scene. You can now launch our game and enjoy the result. You can do this by clicking the play button here, or by pressing the play button here. Voila! After it loads, you can contemplate this wonderful grey background in our game scene. It's beautiful, and you can stare at it endlessly. But let's not waste time and simply close the window with our awesome game. After the first launch, the engine will create a minimal project structure. If you look in the project folder, you'll see several new elements. Under no circumstances should you move these elements to other locations or delete them. They are essential. And now, immediately after watching this lesson, you need to download the archive with the asset folder from the link. This folder contains everything we need to create our game. The archive needs to be unpacked and the folder placed in our project. Right to the root, right here. The download link is attached to this lesson. That concludes our lesson. You can launch the game again and stare at the grey screen if you like. This exercise will prepare you for the next lesson and help you determine if you truly want to become a great programmer. Don't get bored. Goodbye for now.